On a sunny day in the meadow, Taras, a curious boy with a spark in his eyes, ran barefoot through the tall grass. The meadow was his sanctuary, a place where his imagination could roam as freely as the wind. But today, something extraordinary was about to happen. Taras's best friend, Brian, had promised to show him a secret that would change the way they saw the world. The meadow stretched far and wide, dotted with colorful wildflowers and the occasional butterfly fluttering by. As Taras approached the oak tree where they always met, he saw Brian waving excitedly. In Brian's hands was an old, leather-bound book with a golden emblem on the cover. "What's that?" Taras asked, his eyes wide with curiosity. "It's a book about Abraham Lincoln," Brian replied, his voice filled with awe. "My grandpa gave it to me. He said it's magical." Brian opened the book, and a gentle breeze rustled the pages. Suddenly, the meadow transformed around them. The grass turned into cobblestone streets, and the wildflowers became bustling townsfolk. They had traveled back in time to the 19th century. Taras and Brian found themselves standing in front of a small, rustic cabin. Inside, a tall man with a kind face and a stovepipe hat was speaking passionately to a group of people. It was Abraham Lincoln himself, discussing the importance of unity and freedom. The boys listened intently as Lincoln spoke about the injustices of slavery and his vision for a united country. His words were powerful, and Taras felt a deep sense of admiration. He realized they were witnessing a pivotal moment in history. But then, a conflict arose. Not everyone in the crowd agreed with Lincoln's views. A group of dissenters began to argue, their voices growing louder and more hostile. Taras and Brian felt a pang of fear. What if Lincoln's message was lost amidst the chaos? Determined to help, Taras whispered to Brian, "We have to do something." They remembered the stories of Lincoln's perseverance and decided to step forward. With Brian's encouragement, Taras spoke to the crowd, sharing how Lincoln's vision inspired them as children from the future. Their unexpected courage caught the attention of the crowd. Lincoln himself smiled at the boys, his eyes twinkling with gratitude. He nodded, acknowledging their bravery and the importance of their message. The dissenters quieted down, their anger replaced by curiosity and reflection. As the atmosphere calmed, Lincoln continued his speech, emphasizing the power of unity and the need for change. The crowd listened more attentively, realizing the significance of his words. Taras and Brian felt a wave of relief wash over them. With the conflict resolved, the boys found themselves back in the meadow, the book resting gently in Brian's hands. They looked at each other, their hearts full of the lessons they had learned. They understood the importance of standing up for what is right and the impact one voice can have. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the meadow, Taras and Brian knew they had experienced something truly special. They had not only witnessed history but had become a part of it. The meadow, once just a playground, had transformed into a place of profound discovery and inspiration. From that day forward, Taras carried Lincoln's message with him, determined to make a difference in his own world. And whenever he and Brian returned to the meadow, they remembered the power of leadership, courage, and the magic of believing in a better future.